Well, hello again. You'll all remember last time I was in need of a very thin wire to use on the contact plungers, and all I had was I was using 22 gauge. I needed something around 26 gauge. Well, I didn't. I had a lot. I got a lot of good suggestions from folks, and I said I really appreciated that. There was some good ones. One in particular was a computer power supply might have exactly what I needed. But then I got looking around at all these wires I got hanging over here, and I said, there's bound to be something there. I could have, like I said, I could have used a gator wire. Got plenty of yellow ones there. And I came upon this. I had forgotten all about it. I fixed this up a long time ago where I can connect this to a speaker and hook this into something else. I can't even remember what I used it for now. But anyway, I only used one side of this wire. And I got looking at it and I said, geez, look at there now, because both of these here are connected to this one side. One is connected to ground, the other is connected to that white wire in the center. I said, look at that wire, that's about exactly the same. I guess it's white. Look at the size of that thing, that's about exactly what I needed. So I lopped it off right here. I had an extra length about that long sticking out. I went ahead and lopped it off. And we're going to go ahead and strip that back and see what happens. Well, guess what? That is going to work just perfectly. Just exactly the size I need. It's got stranded wire in the center. I can tin it on both ends, get it in there, and we'll be back in business. That should solve that little problem. And then we can move on to the next phase. Well, there we go. Everything's hooked up. Everything's good to go. All four of the contact plungers are working real nice right now. Everything's loose like it's supposed to. And I put a little bit of dielectric grease on the other side here down toward the base. I'll wipe a little bit more of it off. You can't just let them lay there dry going up and down. You got to have at least a little bit of some kind of lube there. And I'll also put just a dab on the rear of each one. And we'll go ahead and call that quits. Alright, all you smart guys out there, I've looked in the manual and I can't find an answer to this question. This thing right here is called the trip lever. Let me zero in on here. And you'll notice that it goes down and up. Down and up. Down and up. What's its purpose? What does it do? It has something maybe to do with the release of the cam. I don't know. And what is its normal position? Up or down? Alright, the next time we work on the mechanism, we're going to, probably in the next video, we're going to remove this capacitor, this filter cap, and we're going to remove this selenium rectifier. We're going to get them out of there and take a look at them and figure out what we can do. I think I might have the necessary cap right here. And I'm pretty sure I have the diode that we're going to need for that. So we'll do all that next time. Let's get back to the cabinet. Well, believe it or not, we're still gluing. Every time I turn around, it's something else. But this side, once I flipped it up, it needed to have all the edging glued down. And it's not going to be a long process, maybe another few hours. As you can see right here, see all this is up. But this is the last of our edging. This is the last of the edging. We'll be able to knock that out in no time at all. I also discovered something else. I knew that I had seen somewhere on this jukebox that contact type paper. And when I discovered on the other side it was just painted, I was like, how could I have been so far off on that? Well, I wasn't. And I'll tell you why. Because this side, the reason this side is so shiny and shows no wood grain is because that in fact is contact type paper. They just stuck it right on there. It peels up over here. I was able to separate it from the wood and see that there actually is a type of contact, and I think that's from the factory. It looks to me like what happened was they peeled it off the other side. May have been some damage. They peeled it completely off the other side, sanded it down and painted it, and then put the white stripes back. So this side is actually different than the other side. Also, when it came to ironing down some of the bumps, there was a big difference. Okay, here's the option. The other side is correct with the wood and the paint, and this side had the contact paper put on it to cover up a bunch of crap. And I don't think it is here. Look at here. See here? There's the contact paper right there. Let me zoom in on this. So if anybody ever gets themselves a, see there? There it is right there. That's not a layer of paint. That is actual contact type paper. So I'm going to have to glue that down too, it looks like. Anyway, we're getting there. The bottom has been completely cut off, and the edging has been, ironed in. So we're good to go on that. And one more issue I have to work on down here. I discovered I hadn't realized this until now. There were chrome plates that went down the front on both sides all the way to the bottom. And over the years they become really rusty. There's one there and one up underneath here. And at least there's supposed to be one up there. It may be gone for all I know. This jukebox had more problems. Anyway, I've decided, I don't know if I can remove that rust and without removing the plating. So what I did was I took a little bit of that navel jelly. I've done a test spot there. We're going to see what happens. In the end, I may have to just sand the rust off or take it off as best I can with the navel jelly, and then steel wool it down and spray paint it silver. I don't know. But it's cemented on, so it's not, if I try to take that off, it'll get all bent to pieces. And I don't want that to happen. Maybe I should look up underneath here and find out. I didn't even notice that till I tipped it on the side, so there may be one up underneath here. Let me find out. Yes, there is one up under here. Now, I'll tell you what. Let's find out how our test case went with this navel jelly. I've got a wet rag here. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Give it a wipe now and see what we get. Yeah, that's what I thought. It just ate it right on down through. I don't know. I think... at least I think that's been eaten all the way. They took the plating right off. What plating there was. So, looks like sanding time and spray paint time before that mess is over on both pieces. I decided to scratch that plate with, through the rust right where I had the navel jelly. I scratched it with my fingernail, and something scraped off. It was almost like it was paint. And so I said, let's try something else. So I've got some stripper working on that top half right now. At this point, we have nothing to lose. So let's see if we can do anything with the stripper. Sure saved me a lot of elbow grease, with the sanding and all that. I don't really look forward to that. Well, I broke open a fresh can of stripper. And this stuff takes off epoxy as well. And I let it sit for a while. I decided to go ahead and try scraping this with this plastic scraper. And it seems to be taking up quite a bit. If I can, I'm trying to fit in here with just those clamps above my head. Just kind of scraping it around, see if it'll loosen that stuff up. It seems to be doing it. I wish I knew what was on there. I don't know if that's paint. I don't know if that's just rusty, or that's or they roughed it up like that to make it not chrome looking. I'm not exactly certain what that is, but anyway, it seems to be removing most of the rust anyway. That's kind of nice to see. Tell you what, while I'm skull braining, trying to figure out what to do about that rusty chrome, I think I'll go ahead and paint the front of the cabinet where the speaker area is with some flat black and get it protected. Alright, that's covered, and now we'll just let her dry for a while. And I pretty much decided while I was painting to go ahead and do the navel jelly route. Just tip it on its side and shower down on it. Just let it soak and just see what happens. And come what may, that we'll just have to maybe live with it unless I decide to paint it silver. This one over here is really messed up. You see how dark it is. But we managed to get some of the sheen to come out, but not much. And we're going to have to, the old navel jelly is going to have to really stand up to the plate this time. Well, great grandma and wifey want to go downtown for a while, so I think what we'll do, one more thing I wanted to tell you, this is sort of like taking quite a while to get this cabinet done. But I want you to know that when it's all over with, when everything is painted and everything is shined up to the best it can be shined, minus the pitted chrome, there's not much I can do about that. But once all the paint's done and everything's done, and the doors on the back, and it's going to be like, wow, this thing really turned out much better than expected. Complete restoration? No. Refurbishment? I think so. I think so. And already it's beginning to show signs of vast improvement. This will be next, this area here, after I shower down on the rust with the navel jelly. Or, no, I'm going to have to get the rust off first. We'll get the rust off first, then we'll paint this in here. So until next time, this is John.